Now, here's Mike.
Hey, we have that founder that the man with the big voice, Doc Morgan, the voice of the Mike Gallagher show, says breaking news on the mic. I just have to keep playing that over and over and over again. Let me go through the list. So many great things to talk about as well. And I think there's a very strong spiritual conversation we should be having in America. Passover, Easter, Holy Week, tomorrow, Good Friday, which of course uh, reminds us of the pain, the suffering, the loss, the anguish of him dying on the cross. And then Sunday, the resurrection. And to me, that is a giant metaphor of what we're going through. The loss, the biggest single day death count in New York. Those aren't 794 numbers. Those are 794 mothers and fathers and sons and daughters and families grieving, losing their loved one. Got a text today from somebody who said, my grandma died. She had 9 kids. We couldn't even attend the funeral. She had 9 kids, only 7 people allowed at the funeral home because of social distancing. So there's just a lot to take in and a lot to absorb, but may we please have a prayerful heart and a spiritual reminder that, however this is going to turn out, wherever this unfolds, let's please not forget the suffering and the pain that so many Americans are going through. For many people, it's the loneliness of being isolated. For many people, it's the fear of losing their job, of wondering how unemployment is going to work, of the unknowing of their company. Is their company going to come back when the economy reopens? So let's please keep Holy Week close to our hearts, so that listen, I am a firm believer that we can't do this alone. But we are in this together, and there is a ton of stuff to report. So we'll just play this one time.
Breaking now on the Mike Gallagher Show.
First of all, this very unpleasant headline: the Democrats block Majority Leader McConnell's bid to get $250 billion more for the Small Business Fund. This has been a big concern that this account is going to run dry quickly. House Majority or Senate Majority Leader McConnell was wanting to pass a cash infusion of $250 billion more, just change the number, but Democrats blocked the effort because they want add-ons. They want to help businesses in disadvantaged communities and additional funding for states and hospitals. That's not a good look for politicians in Washington to be squabbling right now when people are in trouble and are hurting. Some good news: oil prices jumped today, but there are reports that Saudi Arabia and Russia have reached a deal on deep output cuts. Reuters is reporting the news, citing an OPEC source. There is a report that Saudi Arabia and Russia have reached a deal on deep production cuts. The CDC has issued new guidance for essential workers, people who are in the workforce right now. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has issued new guidelines. These guidelines are focused on when workers can go back to work after having been exposed to the novel coronavirus. Do take your temperature before work. Do wear a face mask at all times. Do practice social distancing. Don't stay at work if you become sick. Don't share headsets or objects used near your face. And don't congregate in the break room or other crowded places. Meanwhile, again, a glimmer of hope, some optimism from the Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin. Let's listen to what he said this morning on CNBC, Cut 17, about the timetable for when the United States might just be back open for business again.
Thank you. Well, we had some exciting news this morning, so I wanted to be back with you.
Absolutely. Now, do you think with this, there's a possibility, if the doctors let us, that we could be open for business in the month of May?
I do, Jim. I think as soon as the president feels comfortable with the medical issues, we are making everything necessary that American companies and American workers can be open for business and that they have the liquidity that they need to operate their business in the interim.
Now, of course, that's in flux. That's certainly in jeopardy when the Democrats, led by Pelosi and Schumer, are blocking efforts to infuse the small business assistance with billions of dollars right now. These are businesses that are struggling to pay the rent, struggling to try to keep people on the payroll, and the Democrats said no. So now they got to go back to the drawing board and go back and haggle and wrangle and fight some more. But, you know, it is what it is. That's Washington, D.C. right now. And finally, the last bit of breaking news today, the jobless rolls continue to swell. They were hoping for a 5 million total jobless claims, first-time filing for unemployment claims. It reached 6.6 million in the week ending April the 4th. The Labor Department reported earlier today that this total over the last 3 weeks is now more than 16 million Americans. You know, it's an interesting thing. I mean, we don't like to see the news and it's jarring, but we get it. America's closed. The country is shut down for the most part. We are not open for business. Here comes that delicate balance that I knew was coming for weeks. I've been warning and wondering what this is going to look like. The balance between respecting the health and safety and mourning the deaths of those who have fought the fight and lost, and knowing that if there are businesses that are closed much longer, there won't be a business that reopens. There'll be companies that will never recover. I'm seeing all kinds of scary reports about a big movie theater chain. I don't even want to mention the name, but I saw that a couple of days ago, a movie theater chain I go to all the time. They may not be able to reopen. They may not be able to hold on. And so there's just a lot of uncertainty. And of course, that we are right at the thick of it in terms of deaths. Thankfully, it appears that hospitalizations and new infections are declining. There's, of course, a massive, fierce debate in America about these models. I've got people saying, see, look how much lower the numbers are. And, I kind of get it. On the other hand, yeah, they're lower because we're all home. For the most part, nobody's going out of their house except to go to the grocery store or the pharmacy. So I'm not quite sure I understand the victory lap over the revised lower numbers of 60 or 61,000 total deaths in America as a result of this. We got a lot to cover this hour. 1-800-655-MIKE. I had a great, vigorous debate with my dear friend Mark Davis this morning in Dallas because Dr. Anthony Fauci is saying, and he says not really jokingly, he's never going to shake hands again. And Mark, my, again, great friend of mine, said, I want no part of that. So we mixed it up a little bit this morning because I'm all about that. If indeed not shaking hands can lead to a dramatic decrease in the transmission of all kinds of viruses and disease, maybe that's part of our new normal? We'll dive into that and more coming up here in the ReliefFactor.com mobile studios. Love for you to join us as well. We're here for you just like you're here for me, but you're back in my kitchen. 1-800-655-MIKE. Press 1 to come on air with us. Press 2 to leave a voicemail message. You could always leave us a text message on the MyPillow text line, which is also 800-655-MIKE. I hope you join us on this Thursday, April the 9th edition of the Mike Gallagher Show. Yeah.